The name of this episode is called Satan's Punchline. And I'll tell you what happened. So I did an episode Friday about, what makes a man. And it was 4.5 hours, but I felt it was thorough. I'm not going to do that every night. It's too excessive. I thought a lot about it. And I realized Satan is hilarious in a very dark, horrifying way. But the way comedy works is with irony and juxtaposition, all that stuff. If you talk to any real military historian or somebody that isn't getting paid by the government, but knows stuff about military, history, civilization, they're smart, they get it, their eyes are open, they'll tell you what's coming. There's going to be a conflict right where we live. Some say 100 million will die, and that's real, dude. It's so horrifying, and I'll show you what it is. All right. It's so horrifying that I totally understand why people can't face it. I totally get it. It's gonna be the biggest loss of life in human history. And when you say that, people say, you're crazy, you're paranoid. Guys, look at this. Okay, this is a graph of national debt from 1940 to present, right? And trust me, I know that a lot of people are not gonna let this sink in, and I get it. Trust me. I have a burden because I'm a leader that I can't afford to not look at what I can't have my eyes closed. People get hurt, and I would love the luxury of being oh no, well, we can always expand in the economy. It's over, dude. It's over. We can't go back on the gold standard. When people say end the Fed, that ship is gone. Our money has no value. There isn't enough gold in the entire world to back our money. Do you guys know that? Not even close. Our money has no value. It's fraud, and the debt is escalating, right? So you're well, who's the debt to? Guys, every country's in debt. You got Switzerland, Vatican. I have no idea what China's up to. Literally none. But it's all coming down. And again, people say, I'm comfortable with people saying I'm crazy. I want them off the chat. I don't want them in my life because they're dangerous, right? So this is our debt. And there's going to be people in the chat in your life that are yeah, but it's compared to gross national. Every country's in debt, and it's not only not stopping, it's exponentially growing. That means there's no way to slow it down, and it'll only get worse and worse and worse. When a very close friend of mine who's a brilliant financial advisor and crazy successful, I was can we just keep going in debt forever? And he was I think so, yeah, right? I'm you get that feeling. It's kind of like calling the cops and there's a busy signal when you're oh my God, there's no one here to save us. Guys, we're living in a fraud. This has happened a million times. Every time this happens in history, which it happens all the time, people defraud currency all the time, whether it's with metal or anything. Ponzi schemes. This is not new. Every time it happens, it's a full war, full collapse. Zombies, literally. And when you say that, people can't handle that, so they call you crazy. Okay, every country's in debt. How's that work? Because it's international banks, right? It's fake money, dude. And every time a country tries to have a gold standard, we go to war with them. That's a tough reality, guys. It's a tough reality. I want to think we're going to go to war with Syria to revenge 9/11. If that makes sense to you, or because he gassed some kids, he had no motivation to do that. And if you want to talk human atrocity, let's talk Sierra Leone. Let's talk Libya. The whole world's on fire, guys. That's madness. And you can't let yourself be hijacked by this because there's an opportunity. Okay, I thought about this because every country's in debt. And I saw a comedian once just innocently not realize it was so England's in debt, $500 billion now. Scotland is and America's $1 zillion. So who in debt to? And everyone's laughing. And I'm the Jews. The banks, they're not all Jews. Not all Jews are doing it. I get all that. But the whole thing is based on a lie. It's fraud. It's biblical. One of the reasons I got I'm reading the Bible literally these days, guys, because it's happening. And when you look at it, you're like, well, it's like, I don't want to be too prejudicial. I mean, this is, it's not literal. It's like, guys, it's happening. We live in a world that like our fears are, like a comics fan club, or like someone's going to not like you on Facebook. We're fairly close to a time when we'll see cannibalism in our life, and people will kill each other for nothing, right? So bear in mind that like there's things to be scared of, and the only way out of that is to act this way, which gets you scared in this fake world. Facebook likes are an illusion. It's nothing. No one cares, right? Ask anybody who's experienced the Civil War. The way out, it always starts with people being like, don't say the truth or you're out. There's no way to self-correct. Joe Rogan's 3'1". I'm not gonna lie about it. So anyway, so think about Satan and a joke. That's one thing about Satan that bothers me because of my profession. Although the way I do comedy is way, way, way different, but unfortunately, Satan is hilarious in a very dark way. Growing up, we always had like Faustian deals and all this stuff. They're all joke punchlines from setups where you sell your soul to the devil for a Ferrari, but it never has any gas. You get all the books in the world because you're a reader, and you break your glasses and there's no one else. And Satan's just like, ha ha ha. You become famous. And it's constant. Like the devil is always giving you what you asked for, but it destroys you. And that's comedy. It's literally juxtaposition, irony. It's everything that creates a joke. So think about this joke. And it's the biggest joke in the world. South Park literally did an episode about it called Funny Bot, where they created a robot that was the best comedian in the world. And he's like, I am Funny Bot. He's like, why do the Mexicans still... And people would just die laughing, and they're like, Funny Bot, you're so good. He's like, the algorithms make me the funniest robot in the world. And the ultimate joke of Funny Bot was to kill the entire world and then just go, awkward. And the boys figure it out, and they're like, Funny Bot, no. And he's like, I have done the calculations. The greatest setup punchline would be entire world genocide and simply say, awkward. And he was right. It's called juxtaposition. It's like, it's when two things next to each other, when you have a very serious thing and then something like nothing, right? So that's why when Funny Bot killed the entire world, which couldn't be more horrifying, and then just went, awkward, that's literally the biggest joke ever written. If you're into I like how jokes relieve stress and do uncomfortable truths and make people feel a sense of community. I really do. And those of you that like my comedy can attest to that. But comedy itself can be so evil. And Satan is the biggest comedian in the world because he's always, when you love yourself too much, like self-love is not good, guys. Come on. It's like, I'm just trying to work on me. Stop focusing on you. One of my closest friends is my neighbor who's a cop who's like, man, the brass, like politically, the chiefs, captains, they've never even been a cop. They're serving Satan's. The cops are now treated like criminals. The criminals are treated like heroes. They're just like trying to do good for the community. They're like, they know some of these laws are psychotic. They know that like rapists keep getting off. They're like, my buddy is like, gotta arm yourself, prepare. And he is a cop. They're not there to help us. And it's not because cops are bad. It's because the system is imploding. The chief of police is there to make, he's never probably shot a gun. He's a politician, dude. He's like, okay, so we need this demographic to appear to be, we have to lower the crime rate. The shooting in Florida was because that police chief, Israel, they were trying to look like they were dropping minority crime and, school to prison pipeline, you know, as long as you let everyone get a second chance. So they're hiding stats about crimes. The kid who shot up the whole school had like 40 police calls. He threatened to kill the school. He killed cats. He attacked his grandma. He said he was going to shoot the school. He had guns, and he was like mentally unstable, and his grandma just died. It was a triggering event. No one did anything because his last name was Cruz. Bunch of people died. They blame guns. It's only going to get way, way worse for all of that. Don't think it's like, oh, finally the left is eating itself. People are finally waking up. Guys, it's going to all collapse. It's going to get to the point where it's like, if you are not trans, you are hate. That's coming. Fact. It's going to get to the point where it's like, if you are married and you have children, you are the reason slavery happened. Right now, what I'm saying sounds preposterous and a joke. That will happen before the collapse. The entire world is inverting into an upside down joke that Satan designed. And the only way to beat the joke is to tell the punchline, right? How profound is that? And that isn't because I'm special. It's because I'm tuned into this to the point where just saying reality feels like a drug. It's like people are like, oh my God, you're so awesome. It's like, it's not me, dude. It's like we have a whole world. We have amnesia. We're a species with amnesia, right? There was a time when you knew your neighbors, when you grew your food, when you didn't trust the government, when you had a plan. And by the way, this is another one of Satan's funniest tricks. The trans movement is destroying women. So like this whole movement of tolerance, all it's doing, dude, the devil is dying laughing. And it's at our expense. We're the buffoons. So now it's like, there could be a future where the first female president is a dude. There's now like the fastest female is a guy. All these women that are really fast, they're not fast now. Imagine a world where now there's no difference between men and women. Now, the fastest, the smartest, the funniest comedian. Oh, women can be funny. Look at Christina Rock over here. And it's just Chris Rock, but he's like, yo, man, I'm a girl. And I'm just like, I told you women are funny. Meanwhile, like, female comedians are like, what the happened? It's like, hey, tolerance just made it so women now can't do anything. We now have more women in the military than any military. They're all just dudes. Do you not see the joke yet? It's Faust. Guys, as a comedian, I respect Satan's writing ability. And I'm being dead serious. Like, I look at Satan's writing ability and I'm like, he's the best joke writer who's ever lived. But it's cruelty. You know, like, I love comedy because it's a really fun way to play with words. Like Yuri Bezmenov is hysterical, but it's not at people's expense. He's like, Jesus would be rolling in grave if he was in the grave. It's hysterical, and you don't know why, and it doesn't hurt anybody. And you're like, yeah, he believes that Jesus rose. He's not in the grave. He just played with the cliche, and it's like it's great. That's funny. Where's the trans kid over that? There's no cruelty in it. You know, there's a real cruelty of comedy that I didn't know existed for a long time, and now I realize that Satan's the funniest writer of all time, and it's literally the biggest stakes. It's watching someone think they're about to get really rich and really happy and end up in a shallow grave. Ha 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 ha! Satan's a comedian. And the reason all these comedians suck now, I'm starting to realize it. It's so obvious. They're the straight man for Satan. Satan's like, hey, all right, guys. Once you commit your soul to Satan, right? You have no more say. You can't be like, well, I'll be in hell playing golf. It's like, you don't exist anymore. And that happens before you die. Like, you don't have a say. Like, you have to act out the will of someone else that you don't even sometimes know is controlling you. These comedians that are literally like, I just feel like Owen Benjamin is problematic and like some things you should not joke about. Well, they have Lenny Bruce on their wall. Comedy is poking taboos because the devil's like, say evil and say that's comedy. And people in crowds, dude, this is the good news. Millions of people aren't buying it. I'm trying to give them a game plan out and make them realize this is an opportunity. Like, your life is valuable. It's the most valuable thing in the world is your soul, your life. You know, people are an asset. You know, that's why communities, it's like someone gets a broken leg, someone goes hungry that night to like help the leg, because it's like we need each other. And this Satan's created a narrative where it's like humans are the virus of the earth. No, we're not. Those people might be, though. Sometimes they might just be telling you what they already are. You know, it's like, because Satan's biggest punchline would be everyone dies after thinking they were going to live forever. Like Joe Rogan, these guys are like, we're uploading consciousness, blah, blah, blah. He's setting the stage for being eaten on a highway. I mean, how funny is that? I mean, I don't want to laugh at that because it's cruel funny, but there is an element that everyone has where you still have to recognize, like seeing someone fall down the stairs with a top hat. You know, if like a top hatted gentleman falls down the stairs, right? You laugh. It's cruel. He's in pain, but like it's juxtaposition. It's a guy really proud of his mustache and his top hat. He's really well dressed. He falls down the stairs. It's just a quick change. It's like you thought you're doing great, but now you're doing bad. Ha! Satan is the best writer of that. It's like, do you want to save everyone because you're the best? Well, here you go. And now you just enslaved everyone. Ha ha ha. Dude, it's the trans movement is making it so women can't do anything. That all the glory for women go to men now. It's hysterically funny. And have fun with it. It's like, once you realize this isn't scary, it's horrifying, but there's always a way out. It's freeing too. It's so freeing. And that's when the trans thing starts getting, it's like, I am male, I am female, I am both. Why can't I be both and a unicorn? You see it? That person thinks they're God. That person's gonna die horribly. And like, the devil is dying to tell you the joke for eternity. And I really mean that. Imagine writing that joke and waiting like 50 years to tell it to the person. That's what I mean. Like, the devil really is the funniest person alive, which I find shame in because I'm a comedian, but I don't do comedy that way. But like, imagine being like, just wait for it, man. Just, you guys, it's like, dude, it's gonna be 50 years. Can someone just tell him? It's like, guys, it makes it so much funnier. And then, you know, Caitlyn Jenner goes to hell and the devil's like, call me Caitlyn. And Caitlyn's like, maybe I am in hell. But like, let's have fun, devil. It's like, fun? It's time to live your hell for, like, fun? That was our Comedy Central. Like, the devil hates you. You represent what God made and loves. The devil wants to torture you so excruciatingly that he wants to make you think Jesus Christ is a deceiver and CNN is truth because he wants to watch you break. Ha 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 ha! It's the ultimate mockery. Do you understand that? The devil hates you. God loves you. But yet for some reason it's like, I'm feeling, Luciferianism is so 2019. It's like, it's accepting your own self-hate. And that's why it makes sense when these people are like, we're the viruses on the earth. I'll tell you someone who thinks you're the virus of the earth. Satan. It's starting to feel a little real, isn't it, guys? Right? I get it. What I say sounds crazy in this world. But not that long ago, this wasn't crazy. This was knowledge that was so known that our society didn't collapse. When I was a child, this is all nuts. And we would always talk about the devil's deals and stuff. No one talks about that anymore. Can you imagine Celine Dion making children's clothes with satanic imagery and no gender and all that? Like, dude, in the 80s, people would be like, that French cunt, kill her. I'm dead serious. And that's why we kept surviving and we go through ups and downs in life and troubles. Dude, we're to the point when we have embraced our own collapse and we've fallen in love with it. It's like tolerance, trans rights. It's like, it's literally saying, we suck, we die, we hate, we're viruses. The devil has made you love your own self-destruction. Think about every talking point. Environmentalism, global warming. Everything we do makes the earth sad, and we will bring on the apocalypse by driving and by flying. Meanwhile, they fly in their planes, and all these people, and I was one of them, I get it, I forgive. But like, it's like, yeah, meanwhile, Leonardo DiCaprio flies in a plane, but yet he's talking about global warming. I'm like, do you think hypocrisy matters to someone who's their own God serving Satan's punchline? They don't, like, they do feel like viruses. They probably believe in global warming, that all makes sense, but like, if they're contributing to it, it makes them, like, it makes sense to them. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio is drawn to like being in a gas guzzling plane as he tells the world that we're all viruses. Guys, we aren't viruses. Satan thinks we're a virus. Satan wants us all to die. Satan's full of envy and hate and rage and sloth and lust. He's hysterical, but like, there's another way, and it's so much better. It's like, it's the greatest time to be alive. You go into a supermarket and you can have this box of chemicals or this box of, I mean, I fallen for that too. I was like, man, a king in France didn't have what we have. It's like, as I've been designing my garden, I've been looking at ancient gardens and garden designs and stuff. I love Mount Vernon. Can you imagine a world where you wake up, you go outside, you look at the things you're growing, you come up with a recipe, you pump some water out of the ground, no fluoride. You don't even have to think about someone tampering it. It came from an aquifer right under you. That's what we have. And then you make it with your family, you pray, you say thanks, and you have an unbelievable day. Then you go, work with the animals, you see life, you see death, you understand that. Guys, they took that. Like, we are thankful for death. There's only one entity in the universe that wants that. We were created by God. He loves us. Satan hates us. Who do you think's running the show? But here's the thing, Satan has no power. Satan, just like God, requires us to make the decisions. That's why I'm not killed. Like, I thought about this. They really do make you do it. God and the devil. It's like the vampires have to be invited in. And I get it, because they're not in this dimension. So like, they can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna kill all they have to be like, it's a chess match of the soul. It's like, the devil's like, all right, I'm gonna make it seem like you hate guys on rollerblades, and guys on roller skates are just getting killed by like, family-oriented stereotype, but we make them look scary. And you like hate these vulnerable, artistic homosexuals that merely just want to love a man. And God's like, guys, don't fall for this, please. And the devil's like, it's structured so that like, you're seen as like you hurt the vulnerable unless you embrace sodomy, sexual deviancy, and sex with children. God's like, there's no way they're gonna fall for that. The devil's like, they're buying Priuses. And God's like, don't they know the minerals are just mined out of Africa and the wars? They're like, social cloud is getting bigger than you, God. And God's like, humans, please don't be Babylon again. And the devil and Satan's like, Babylon. This is happening all the time. And you can call me crazy all you want, but as you're rotting on a highway, I'll be eating a salad